So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Hello and a warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Weiner, your host for the show. We have a very wide range of topics for you this week, and we will start the show as usual with Alison's roundup of things to do in the area. That will be followed by a fascinating topic on reflexology. We will pop into Keith's kitchen to see what he has for us, and we will then complete the show with an inspirational story. So let's get started and find out from Alison what is happening in the area.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's on in Selsey and the surrounding area. First of all, on Thursday the 3rd of November, the Selsey Cinema Club will be restarting after their long break, so do go along and support them if you can. They're running a series entitled Ladies of the Screen, and the first one is Shakespeare in Love. So that starts at 7:30 in the Town Hall. Entrance for that is £5. Also on Thursday, the Venture Club are running an amenity run to Bognor. Now that begins in the morning, actually, not the evening, 8:30 in the morning, returning at 11:30. You need to book for that, so if you'd like to contact the Venture Club, they're on 605 115. That's 605 115 for the amenity run to Bognor. On Saturday the 5th, as well as being Bonfire Night, there's going to be a jumble sale in aid of the Selsey Cancer Relief Fund. That will be held at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Methodist Church Hall. That's on Saturday, November the 5th. On Sunday, the next day, there's going to be a tabletop sale at the Selsey Centre. Sellers, you can arrive by 8 and buyers by 9, so do go along to that on Sunday. Also on Sunday, there's another guided walk. This one is called Discover Pagham Harbour (North). From the visitor centre, RSPB guides will take you on a gentle autumn walk along the tramway, up to Siddlesham Quay and around the north side of the reserve. That's a 3-mile walk which will combine wildlife and the harbour's historic past, while the change of season promises to see winter visitors starting to gather in some numbers. So do go along to that. That starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, should last for about 3 hours. The cost for that will be £7, and as usual, there is a reduction if you're an RSPB member. That will be down to £4. Booking is essential. You need to call 641 508. That's 641 508 for the Discover Pagham Harbour Walk. Now let's move across the rest of the peninsula and see what's going on in Bracklesham and the Witterings. On Tuesday the 1st of November, it's time for little explorers to be playing and learning together. They meet at Bracklesham Barn from 9:30 until 12 midday. Also at the barn on Tuesday, there'll be yoga with Elaine from 10 until 11. And then later in the afternoon, Tai Chi at Bracklesham Barn. That will be at 4 o'clock. The Wittering Quilters are due to have their meeting at St Peter's Roman Catholic Church Hall. They will start at 7 in the evening until 9 o'clock. If you're interested in finding out more, then do contact Judith Rogers. Her number is 511 431. That's 511 431 for the Witterings Quilters. Also between 7 and 9, this time at West Wittering Memorial Hall, it's time for the Community Pop Choir. So if you like singing, they're the people for you. If you prefer something a little bit more energetic, then the Badminton Club will be meeting at the barn between 7:30 and 9:30. And there's free pool at Pond Barn on the 1st. Now on Wednesday, the next day, 2nd of November, time for table tennis, drop in and play for adults at the barn between 10 and 12. Running alongside that, CBT motorcycle training at the barn between 9 and 11, followed by gyrokensis with Jen between 11 and 12. Then after lunch at the barn, a spot of belly dancing with Step Inside from 1 until 2. In the evening, Louise will be taking her Zumba class between 6:30 and 7:30. And it's happy hour at Pond Barn between 5 and 8. Then Thursday, the 3rd of November, the Busy Bugs Toddler Gym will be happening at the barn between 9:15 and 12:15. At the Witterings Medical Centre that day, it's time for Stitch and Yarn between 10:30 and 12:30. And at East Wittering Library, you can go along for a spot of knitting and nattering between 11 o'clock and 12:30. The Witterings Master Art Group will meet between 10 and 12 at West Wittering Memorial Hall. And then after lunch, there's a Keep Fit exercise class at East Wittering Memorial Hall. That's between 2 and 3. West Wittering Short Mat Bowls, 3 sessions, 10 until 12, 2 onwards. West Wittering Memorial Hall, Chris is the person to contact there. 07788 111 325. That's quite a long number to remember, isn't it? So I'll repeat it. 07788 111 325. That's Chris, who's organising the short mat bowls. The Thursday group will meet at the barn between 2 and 4. And then in the evening, the Junior Youth Club between 8 and 12 years will meet at the Youth Centre between 5 and 6:30 p.m. They'll be followed by the seniors, that's for 12 to 17-year-olds, again at the Youth Centre from 6:30 until 8:30. On the 3rd, it's also time for the monthly cinema night at Bracklesham Barn. Doors open for that at 7, although it's not curtain up until 7:30. This month it's a film called Room. This is an Oscar-winning drama starring Brie Larson. It's based on the best-selling novel by M. Donoghue, entitled Room. It concerns someone who was held captive for 7 years in an enclosed space. I believe it's a shed. A woman and her 5-year-old son. They finally gain their freedom, allowing the boy to experience the outside world for the very first time. So that's billed as a drama. Room on Thursday. Also on Thursday, there's an auction at Pond Barn with viewing from 5 o'clock and the auction starting at 6:30. On Friday the 4th of November, it's the South Coast Networking 11s meeting, starting at 11 as we might expect and finishing at 12:30. That's held at the Harbour Way Country Club. At the barn in the afternoon, short mat bowls between 2 and 4. And then at Pond Barn in the evening, it's jukebox night from 7 until midnight. On Sunday the 6th of November, Windrush Church have their meeting at the barn between 10:30 and 12:45. And then in the evening, it's quiz night at Pond Barn. On Monday the 7th, Little Ducklings Mother and Toddler Group will meet at the barn between 9:30 and 11:30 in the morning. Short mat bowls again at the barn, 10:30 until 1. Something a little bit different in the afternoon, high teas from 2:30 until 4:30. And then to work that off, how about a bit of yoga with Elaine? That's between 7 and 8:30 in the evening. Again, all these things at the barn. It's also time for ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing with Verity. She'll be doing that between 7:30 and 8:30. So I think that's about it for the week of what's on, but I do now need to tell you all about the weather on the peninsula. On Wednesday the 2nd, we can expect a high of 11 degrees centigrade, that's 52 degrees Fahrenheit, and it should be a sunny day with a 12-mile-an-hour wind northerly, so I think that would probably make it feel a little bit colder than our 11 degrees. On Thursday the 3rd, a high of 11 degrees centigrade again, 52 Fahrenheit, another sunny day, slightly lower wind speed, 8 miles an hour, and that will be a north-northeasterly. On Friday the 4th, 12 degrees centigrade, so heading up a little bit, 52 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud and an 11-mile-an-hour wind northwesterly. Saturday the 5th, ready for fireworks, a high of 11 degrees centigrade, 52 Fahrenheit. That's daytime temperatures, of course. I can't promise what the evening will bring. A day of sunny intervals with a 10-mile-an-hour wind northwesterly. On Sunday the 6th, 10 degrees again, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud this time, 11-mile-an-hour wind. That will be a northeasterly. And Monday the 7th, 10 degrees C, 50 degrees Fahrenheit again, sunny intervals this time, with a 12-mile-an-hour wind, northwesterly. Now let's have a look at the tides for those people that like to walk along the sea and discover the sea coast. We've got a high tide at 10 past 12 on Wednesday the 2nd and a low tide at 5 past 6 in the evening. Now that will change throughout the week, of course, closing on Tuesday the 8th with a low tide at 10 in the morning and a high tide at 4:45. So that's our weekly news for what's going on. Hope you enjoy some of those activities, particularly Bonfire Night. I'm glad you joined us for the day, and I'll speak to you again next week. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Alison. We'll now go over to Keith, who is talking to Jan Rose about the benefits of reflexology.
My next guest is a lady called Jan Rose, and Jan's going to relax us all, because what Jan does is reflexology, and she's going to be telling us a little bit about what that involves, because some people obviously will know and some probably wouldn't. So we're going to be enlightened and relaxed by the lovely Jan, who's going to tell us all about it. Good morning, Jan.
Morning, Keith.
Now, reflexology.
Yep.
What is it?
Well, reflexology is a complementary therapy, and it works on pressure points to stimulate the body's own healing potential. Reflexologists, when we look at your feet, we see a mini map of your body. And we work on areas of the feet, which we call reflex areas. And the aim of working on those areas is to bring about a positive change, positive physiological change in the part of the body that corresponds to that reflex area. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what I see when I look at your feet, is basically a mini map of you. And one of the main things about reflexology is many people find it hugely relaxing. It induces such a state of relaxation for many people that basically reduces your stress. And stress is a huge factor that many of us have to deal with these days in our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
And estimates put the visits to the doctors, days off work from stress. Something about 75% to 90% of all illnesses are stress related in some way. So any way we can get that down and reduce people's stress has got to be a good thing.
Yeah, I feel I've got a bit of an advantage over most people, or a lot of people anyway, listening today, because I've had some reflexology on a couple of occasions, and believe me, folks, it works. I don't know how it works, and I studied a map while it was being done, and I sat and studied a map of my feet that tells you which particular area affects which particular organ.
Yep.
And it's amazing. But I promise you, it worked for me. Now, whether that's just a mental state or what, I'm not sure. Maybe I just enjoyed the experience and wanted it to work. But I can only say it did work for me, and I felt much better. So now your feet are more delicate and more...
That's right. They sure are. When you think about your feet, I mean, your feet are amazing. I would say that. I deal with feet every day, but they have over 7,000 nerve endings in each foot, and over a quarter of your bones in each foot. And they're a masterpiece of engineering. Actually, that's Leonardo da Vinci called them a masterpiece of engineering and a real work of art, because they're your foundation. We take them for granted. We shove them into shoes. We don't really think an awful lot about them until something isn't right with them. And then that's all you can think about. So with the multitude, the thousands of nerve endings you've got in the feet, it's hardly surprising that it has such a profound effect on the nervous system. Because as you're manipulating the feet and stimulating those reflex areas, that's sending messages to your nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord. And those messages are being sent out, we believe, as reflexologists, to your organs and muscles, as well as inducing that sense of relaxation, which basically brings all your body systems down. It brings them down a notch, and it gets them working together and brings balance. That's basically it in a nutshell. We're trying to rebalance your body.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can relax to a real deep extent, just for a brief period, 30 minutes or something like that, it does make a hell of a difference. I worked for a Japanese company for a good number of years, and they would allow you to sleep at your desk because they said if you were sitting at your desk and your eyes start to close, that's when you're relaxed. And so if you go with that, then you'll feel much more refreshed after 30 minutes, and you'll be far more productive.
Absolutely. There's a saying: if you switch something off for a while, when you switch it back on again, it will work better. And that's kind of the same thing. And the nice thing about reflexology is you can do it anywhere, really, even at your desk. As in the example you've just given, if you're shown, a reflexologist can show you how to work the reflexes on your hands as well, because the hands are covered in reflex points and pressure points too. So as part of your session with a reflexologist, depending on what you're there for and what you want to achieve, they can also show you how to work your own hands, so that you can give yourself a little treatment as and when you need it, at your desk, at home, in the evening, whatever. And I often do that with my clients. I'll show them various reflex points that they can work themselves.
It's because it's not everybody that can get their foot in a position where they can work on their feet.
No,
I'm lucky. I'm still flexible enough to be able to do that, but it doesn't beat getting somebody to do it for you, and somebody, of course, that knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Being diabetic, I tend to massage my feet quite regularly, which has a good effect. But it's not like having somebody that actually knows what they're doing. And when I had it done, the lady that did it said, "Well, this area is, are you suffering with any ailments?" And I said, "The kidneys have taken a bit of a bashing this week." And she said, because I was away on holiday, and she said, "Well, this area is if we concentrate on this area, it's for the kidneys. And, this area is for the liver." And people perhaps don't understand that each different area of your foot works a different part of your body. And
Absolutely.
If you think about it, of course, it would make absolute sense, wouldn't it? Because if you wanted to manage your body's performance, where else would you put the bits that manage it other than in your feet? Because you're on your feet most of the time. And when you're on your feet, when you're walking, certain areas of your feet are being massaged or they're working for you. And so it does make sense that, if you like, your body management system is actually in your feet.
Well, one of the theories, there are many different theories about how and why it might work. One theory is that you could take different parts of the human body, and it will actually contain information about the whole of the body. So it's a kind of a holographic theory, if you like. So yes, you can use the feet to help bring about changes in the body. You can use the hands in a similar principle, as I've just explained, and actually even the ears. The reflex areas in the ears are tiny. With the feet, it's easier because the reflex areas are bigger. But yes, the theory is that you can use these parts of the body in order to bring about positive change in the whole of the body.
Well, as I say, from my personal experience, I know that when I had I had a reflexology session where we were away on holiday, when the weather was particularly bad, and it was something to do for the day or for an hour. So I went and did it. But I actually did come out, and I was so sceptical about it. I just thought, another load of old tosh. But at least if I go in there and sit and listen to that relaxing music and chill out for an hour, it won't have done me any harm. But I actually came out there feeling quite a bit better. And
it's a really good way to use it, the way you've just described, because I see a lot of clients who have come to me with various different issues, but I also see a lot of clients who come to me because they know the value of switching off for an hour, and they come maybe once every month, once every 3 months, but they know that keeps them balanced, and keeps that sense of well-being going. So it's actually really good to use it in that example that you've just given. Whatever makes you feel good is worth doing.
Absolutely. So
for many people, it is reflexology. And the nice thing about it as well is you only have to take off your shoes and your socks. Some people don't like having to take off more than that. If they're going for a massage, they don't like anybody in those areas, your abdomen. But feet, it's a safe space. And I actually have quite a few teenagers that come to me. Parents bring them to me for various reasons, and they respond really well to it, because you're not with it. For a teenager, you're not in their space. They don't want you in their space. No. So it's a safe distance. And it really is, it's quite good. I've got 2 teenagers myself, 2 boys, and they absolutely love it. and it's a good bonding thing as well. But it's good for hormonal balance. One of generally balance, as I've explained, but for balancing all the body systems and for getting them through those difficult hormonal times, it's certainly helped in our case. And I use it. My youngest went through GCSEs recently, and so just to kind of keep him in a relaxed frame of mind, I used it a lot on him at that time as well. So it has a lot of potential uses, and people use it in lots of different ways for their own means.
There you go. You see, Jan can actually turn teenagers into humans.
No, I didn't say that.
You've got to take notice of that. Now, I also believe, Jan, that you're involved with the Fernhurst Centre for providing reflexology for cancer patients.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a volunteer for Macmillan. Macmillan organise for the patients at the Fernhurst Centre, patients who have been affected by cancer diagnosis and their families and carers. And they offer them complimentary therapy sessions. They can have up to 6 sessions at no charge. And that's something which is very popular.
Yes,
and so we're kept very busy, and I do that once a week. And we have other therapists that offer other therapies other than reflexology, and patients can choose a combination of therapies that they would like to try, and then they come along and have their therapy at a time that suits them.
Well, I can think of few more stressful situations than being diagnosed with that and having to live with it.
Absolutely.
And of course for the families of the people that have been diagnosed with cancer, they must go through a terrifically stressful time.
That's true, absolutely.
That's a wonderful service. Well, thanks for coming in and filling us in and opening our eyes a little bit about reflexology.
My pleasure.
If people want to contact you, how do they do that?
Okay, I have a website. It's janrosereflexology.co.uk. I'm on Facebook. You can find me under Jan Rose Reflexology. I post articles on there I think my clients will find interesting, and just general well-being things really that I find interesting. I'm on Twitter. If you're a Twitter person, then you can follow me on Twitter. So those are the ways to get through to me.
And email or phone numbers?
Yeah, my mobile number is 0778 935 7766 if you want to give me a call and have a chat about how reflexology might benefit you. And I'm at jrosereflex@talktalk.net.
And you're based in Huntston?
I am based in Huntston, yes. I have a separate treatment room behind my home, which is very quiet and peaceful.
So you don't even have to go through the stresses of crossing the A27. If you're living in Selby or Witterings, you can get up to where Jan is without any problem. Well, thanks once again for coming in and opening our eyes to that, Jan. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
My pleasure. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan and Keith. While you're in a calm frame of mind, we can go over to Keith's kitchen to see what treats he has for us.
Right, we've got another nice recipe for you now that the old fresher weather's coming along. This is chicken biryani. Lovely, one of my favourites. And this is what we need. Now, this is serve 8, so you can get some friends round on one of these cold evenings and stay indoors and have a nice chicken biryani and a couple of glasses of something you fancy and have a generally good evening. And this is what we need. 1.5 teaspoonsful of finely chopped fresh root ginger, 1.5 teaspoonsful of crushed fresh garlic, 1 tablespoonful of garam masala, 1 teaspoonful of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoonful of ground turmeric, 2 teaspoonsful of salt, 5 green or white cardamom pods crushed, 300 ml of plain yoghurt, 1.5 kilos of chicken that's skinned and cut into 8 pieces, 150 ml of milk, 1 teaspoon of saffron strands, 6 tablespoonsful of ghee, 2 onions sliced up, 450 grams of basmati rice, 2 cinnamon sticks, 4 black peppercorns, 1 teaspoonful of black cumin seeds, 4 fresh green chilies, 2 tablespoonsful of lemon juice, and 2 to 3 tablespoonsful of finely chopped fresh coriander leaves. And this is what we do. Blend the ginger, garlic, garam masala, chili powder, turmeric, half the salt and the cardamoms together in a bowl. Mix them all up. Add the yoghurt and the chicken pieces and mix well, and then cover and marinate in the fridge for about 3 hours. Boil the milk in a small saucepan and pour over the saffron and set that to one side. Now heat the ghee in a large saucepan, add the onions and cook until they're nice and golden. Transfer half the onions and the ghee to a bowl and set them to one side as well. Now place the rice, the cinnamon sticks, the peppercorns and black cumin seeds in a saucepan of water. Bring to the boil and remove from the heat when the rice is half cooked. Drain and place them in a bowl and mix with the remaining salt. Now chop the chillies and set those to one side. Now always remember, when you're chopping chillies, don't rub your eyes, because it's a nightmare. Add the chicken mixture to the pan containing the onions. Add half each of the chopped green chillies, the lemon juice, coriander and saffron milk. Add the rice and then the rest of the ingredients, including the reserved onions and the ghee, and cover tightly and cook on a low heat for 1 hour. And check that the meat's cooked through. You always like to have the meat cooked properly. And if it's not cooked, just return it to the heat and cook for a further 15 minutes or so. And then mix it all up before you serve it. That's it. Nice and easy. Chicken biryani. Brilliant stuff.
Another great recipe from Keith, who has now taken off his apron and rushed over to the Witterings for an inspirational story from Andy Stevens.
I'd like to introduce you now to Pastor Andy Stevens from the Windrush Church over in Witterings. Morning, Andy.
Good morning. My theme for today is other worlds. We are in a world. Do other worlds really exist? Is there life beyond the earth? Can we really believe we are the only ones in the universe? Many people in many parts of the world truly believe in aliens. What or who are these? Have they really been seen? If so, where do they come from? There are many people involved in listening out for extraterrestrial life, from the Vatican downwards. Why? Do we long for something otherworldly to believe in? Is there hope in thinking we are not alone and anything out there will ultimately help us? Others are very skeptical, and many are fearful of these aliens. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. My kingdom is from another place." So there is another place. He is not of this world. He is of a world where he has a Father and a myriad of angels at his disposal. They are not baby cherubs. They are fierce, fighting angels. Why? Who do they fight? Is there wars going on in heavenly places? As these are true warriors. It says in the Bible, we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in heavenly places. There seems to be yet another world, another dimension, a world where the inhabitants war against humans. The Bible mentions a dominion of darkness and a kingdom of light, two distinct other worlds. There are many reports around the world of UFO sightings that go against the laws of gravity and physics. Most people think that is because they are so superior a race that they have overcome these laws. What if these were from a different dimension? Not physical, but spiritual. A fourth dimension. Something of another dimension, when made visible in our three-dimensional world, would appear to break all or many of our three-dimensional rules. The Bible says, Elisha's servant's eyes were opened, and he saw the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire. John, in Revelation, saw into a kingdom not of this world. Ezekiel saw many wondrous sights, not of this world. but he explained them in terms of this world to people of this world. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The Father is God, and God is Spirit. So we are invited to enter into this spiritual realm through Jesus Christ.
Thank you, and with that we have come to the end of the show, so it just remains for me to thank all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mullett, our presenters Alison and Keith, not forgetting of course our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Weiner, until next time, bye.